We're back into the action, folks. In my own words, on the Friday with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And folks, the moment you've all been waiting for, we got the man, the myth, the bona fide legend. It's a family affair. We got Justin Smith in the building, the lead scout and recruiting analyst for TDA. Folks, I promise you, he's got a pillow, a blanket, a hammock in every recruit's house. This man is on the road doing this thing here. Justin, as always, man, it's happy to have you back in here, man.
As always, I'm always happy to join you on In My Own Words.
So Justin, first things first here, big commitment that happened on Thursday. Ian Jackson, the four-star outside linebacker out of Prattville High School here in Alabama, gave his yes to the Crimson Tide, gave his yes to Nick Saban, a big player in a very priority position here. I remember when Prattville's head coach Caleb Ross, he talked about how good Ty Perine was when Perine came to Alabama from Prattville as a walk-on punter. Talk to me about Ian Jackson. How major was this commitment?
I think this commitment was a huge commitment for Alabama for several different reasons. I know a lot of recruiting sites have him listed as more of a lower ranking four-star recruit, but that does not describe this kid's game. This is a very versatile athlete. There's not too many players in the 2021 recruiting class who can play at all three levels on the defensive side of the football. When you look at outside linebacker, inside linebacker, and possibly defensive back. And when I got a chance to talk with Caleb Ross, the head coach of Prattville High School, he actually told me that Ian Jackson started off at the safety position during his 10th grade year. He played his whole entire sophomore year at the safety position. He was a very aggressive player, but as the coaching staff started to see his body grow, they wanted to bring him closer to the line of scrimmage, and they put him at outside linebacker. And he told me when they put him at outside linebacker, he just flourished, especially rushing off the edge. Of course, they taught him a couple of things, but he was just doing some things natural, so you knew he had a bit more edge to him. That's something he said to me, because when he said that when you have a guy outside linebacker, when you're rushing from the edge, you got to have something. He said Ian has that something, and he said if he continues to grow, continues to gain more weight, and he could possibly get to 215 or possibly 230 during his college career, this is a guy who could possibly easily play inside linebacker at the next level. He doesn't really see him as a Mike linebacker, but possibly at a Sam and Will position. So this is a kid who's one of the more versatile kids in the 2021 recruiting class. Look for him to make a jump on several recruiting rankings as the season goes on for him during the senior season.
Now, for a lot of Bama fans, Justin, people are already kind of starting to compare him to Mack Wilson. Mack came in from Carver High School in Montgomery. And so when Matt came in, a guy that really compact frame, tall guy, but loved to hit, loved to tackle, loved to dissect plays, just a pure athlete. Do you see some similarities between Jackson to a Mack Wilson?
Yeah, I see some similarities. I think the biggest similarity is his ability to defend the pass at the linebacker position. In my personal opinion, I think Mack Wilson was one of the best coverage linebackers that Saban ever had. When it comes to coverage, he probably was out of place on some different plays, but I think when it comes to his pass coverage, that was one of the biggest strengths in his game. I think Ian Jackson brings that to the table. Very versatile kid. I think he really is comfortable defending the pass from the linebacker position.
Folks, if you're just tuning in to In My Own Words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We're right here with Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, talking 2021 recruiting for Alabama. Justin, along with Ian Jackson, there's been a lot of young men putting up their top four list for schools, whether it's the Brockemeyer twins, whether it's a couple of wide receivers. There's just so many guys that are putting in these top four lists. Alabama really trying to push more young men to commit, just seeing how the August is already a recruiting dead period. Yeah. They've pushed some stuff back even through July. So who could be the next guys that you could see committing here in terms of these top four lists really starting to heat up?
Well, when it comes to the top four list, I know a couple of guys who released them was James Brockemeyer, the first guy, the four-star offensive lineman. Of course, Alabama is recruiting him and his brother, Tommy Brockemeyer, the five-star offensive lineman. He did release that top four and included Alabama. I think that really paints a picture of who is still in the mix. Of course, his top four list is similar to his brother's top four list at the moment. They have the same schools. They are still considering the same schools. And, of course, a commitment for them could come at any time, because when I got a chance to talk with the dad, Blake Brockemeyer, he did say that they feel comfortable enough if they do not take any more visits that they feel comfortable with, the visits that they have taken with the schools they are considering. They are confident that they can make the right choice based off their visits and their relationship with the coaching staffs. That both of those guys are considering. Alabama was also in the Final Four for a 4-star wide receiver out of Louisiana, Brian Thomas Jr., a 6'4" wide receiver, a guy with a long frame, a very aggressive wide receiver who could possibly play 2 sports at the next level, basketball and football. Several schools have offered him that opportunity. Of course, Alabama has not done so yet, but they have shown that they are willing to do that when you look at guys like Terrion Arnold and also 5-star athlete JaQuincy McKinstry. So Alabama was included in his Final Four. It was also included in a Final Four released by Troy Franklin, a 4-star wide receiver out of California. I think that is a battle Alabama is in. Most definitely, they are still considering him. He is still considering Alabama, but I think that battle is going to come down to Alabama getting him on campus, especially with him being from California, getting him on campus to experience what Tuscaloosa is all about. I think it's going to be vital for Alabama in terms of those guys who are still considering Alabama that released their Final Four recently.
Now, where is the Crimson Tide in terms of Tim Kennon? Where is Tim Kennon in terms of, is he close to making a commitment? Is he almost there? I know Bama fans are excited about him as well. So where are we in terms of a potential commitment from Tim Kennon?
Well, Tim Kennon, of course, is the 4-star defensive tackle out of Ramsey High School in Birmingham, Alabama. This is a kid whose commitment is going to go very slow, as he said multiple times. He wants to wait all the way to National Signing Day. But Alabama,
so basically, he wants to give people a heart attack.
Yeah, he wants to wait till National Signing Day. He has said that on multiple occasions. He wants to sign and make his commitment on that same day during the December signing period, the early signing period, as we do have 2 signing periods. But when you look at Tim Kennon, this is a guy who's still considering all of his options. I think his recruitment is very open. I think he released like a top 10. I think it was higher than that, a very high top school list. So he's still considering a lot of schools. His recruitment is still open when you look at Tim Kennon. I actually talked to his dad recently, and he was like, "Yo, we're just doing a lot of working out." And he actually sent me a video of him like just chilling in the front seat of his truck, and Tim Kennon is pushing the truck working out. So he's definitely working and still just working through his recruitment process.
Folks, if you're just tuning into the show here in my own words on a Friday, we got the man, the myth, the legend on the ground in recruiting, Justin Smith of TDA, talking Crimson Tide for the 2021 class. And we actually had a question here, Justin, from one Samuel William Wilkinson, one of our faithful listeners here on the show. And Samuel wanted to know about any potential quarterback prospects, any potential offensive line prospects, targets that the Crimson Tide Alabama is looking at. We all know that Nick Saban likes to recruit at least one quarterback per class. He's hard on getting those offensive linemen. Just seeing how the potential of you losing Landon Dickerson, Alex Leatherwood, and also Deontay Brown after this season. Where are we with potential for quarterbacks and offensive line targets?
Okay, when it comes to the quarterback position, of course, Alabama is still recruiting 4-star quarterback Miller Moss out of California. He's still considering Alabama along with USC, UCLA, and also LSU. So he's still considering a lot of different schools, our top 4 schools at the moment, it looks like. But when you look at Alabama and their push for Miller Moss, it still look to be in the mix, as well as being in the mix for Jalen Milroe. I know that he's committed to Texas. I think there's going to be a hard push for Alabama to possibly get him, but I think there are still a couple options outside those guys. You look at the son of Deion Sanders, Shadir Sanders. He does have an offer from Alabama. Alabama had been in contact with him, so that is another guy to look at. But I think some more names could emerge if those guys decide to go another way. But as far as the offensive line position, Alabama is still pushing for the Brockemeyer twins. Of course, they were pushing for Jaden Roberts. I think they're still going to push for him, even though he's committed to Auburn. I think they could possibly still push for him down the line if they see fit. They could possibly fit their class. Another guy we'll look out for is J.C. Latham, a IMG Academy product. I think Alabama's really made a push for him lately, because I actually talked to him at the Under Armour Future 50 Media Day event. He said Alabama had not really been in too much contact with him at that point, but I think they have picked up contact as of late. I'll put J.C. Latham in that conversation. Alabama's also still pushing for 5-star offensive lineman Amarius Mims, possibly one of the top offensive lineman targets in the 2021 recruiting class as well. So there's still a lot of offensive lineman targets, and I think another name could possibly emerge in the quarterback race if Alabama cannot land Miller Moss or possibly flip Jalen Milroe.
Now, another big one here, Justin, in terms of just Alabama in trying to push to get more recruits here. What's kind of the hardest part of that? Because I know the young men would have loved to have been on the campus. Can't do that because, of course, during the coronavirus pandemic. But aside from, the Zoom calls, aside from trying to get these guys to commit, what's kind of been, the hardest part for Alabama to really, hit that jolt and get 10 and 15 and 20 guys, rolling in this class? I know it's on, 6, which is good from where it once was because it was on 1 with Deontay, Lawson for the longest of time. But what's been the toughest part of getting these young men to quickly commit as fast as possible?
Well, I think it's a bit of a lot of different reasons when you look at it that way. Of course, I think Alabama wanted to take a little bit of a slower approach, evaluate some guys that are really looking forward to getting guys on campus this summer for those camps. I think that's one of the biggest hindrances. Alabama has to use huddle film. You have to reach out to coaches that you trust on the recruiting trail, coaches that you have built a relationship with. You have to reach out to those coaches and evaluate guys through coaches. A lot of times, I think the evaluation plays a part, and of course, you have to get those guys on campus. It's hard to sell a family on your program if they've never stepped foot on campus. Of course, it may be easy to sell a high school kid on it, but you got to sell mom and dad on University of Alabama. So I think it's a lot of different obstacles in Alabama as well, especially when you offer kids that you was hoping to get on campus possibly for the first time during the spring and summer, and now you're not going to possibly get them on campus before they make their decision. I think that's kind of a hard sell, especially trying to sell mom and dad on your program virtually, totally not getting a chance to see you face to face, to have that in-person contact.
He's Justin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Joining us to talk Bama recruiting for 2021. Give this young man a follow. He is on the ground. I'm telling you, he's got the pillow, he's got the hammock, he's got the sleep master bed. He is at every recruit's home doing that job, building these relationships with these young men. Crimson Tide landing one in Jackson on Thursday, the 4-star from Prattville High School, looking to get more as the cycle continues. We're going to take another break here, folks, on the show, but don't touch that dial. Upon our return, we unpack more of your phone calls, thoughts, tweets, text messages, and concerns after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.